What's up? It's me, ADRI.V The Go Getta, and I want to welcome you to the G Code podcast. You see, this is a place you go to get the pretty, the ugly, and the grind to success. There's always a story to be told, and everything that glitter ain't gold. So understand this, there is no need for the cheat code when you got the G Code. So get your notebooks and pens ready. It's time for us to get into it. Welcome to the G Code.
You are now listening to the G Code with ADRI.V.
Hey, what's up, my go-getters? It's me, ADRI.V The Go Getta. Welcome to the G Code, of course. Now, listen, every Wednesday, I come in to do a mid-week check and give you some motivation, too, and to hear an inspiring story of the ups and downs, the glitz and the glam that most of us see, but truly get into the bedrock bottom of their story. And I'm really excited because I have some lost tapes, right? And I say lost tapes because for whatever reason, I did not put this interview out. This interview is a quickie, okay? Everybody loves a quickie. I know I do. But this one was a good one because my girl, Miss Kiana Ledé, gave me some time while she was in transition and going to her photo shoot and shopping. We were able to kick it while she was in her car and talk about, of course, her new album that was being released, Kiki. And although she has been in the game for a while, this was a debut album, all right? And it came out during a time where many of us had a chance to do nothing but sit still and listen. Now, since then, of course, she has dropped more music and gone on tour. But this here is some lost files and tapes that I didn't get a chance to put into the podcast that I would be remiss not to allow your ears to grace this conversation, because this woman had a chance to speak about, you know, her own experiences of navigating in the industry, you know, as an advocate for mental health and dealing with it for herself, and the importance of getting with your tribe, okay? You can vibe higher with your tribe, and how they just locked in and got to making music, got to making work and creating magic together. And it really takes a focus to step away from everything going on and to just lock in on the things you need to accomplish and the things you need to achieve. And that in itself is pretty big thing that we really begin to need to navigate. And of course, us talking about mental health. I'm a huge advocate for mental health simply because I really believe this is one avenue that we fail to really make sure we're checking in on. You know, I always say, I'm here to make sure we get a checkup from the neck up. Rather, it's just checking in to see how you're feeling genuinely, you know, being able to hear other people's stories of how they are developing and working on their mental health, or even having that reminder to check in with your inner self, your energy. And I will always say, we got to have a G check. I need to know your energy. What is the pulse of your energy, right? And so when I hit you with that, just know we doing some mindfulness. We're checking in to see how we feel, because how can you be the best you can possibly be and create at the highest level without making sure your mental is in the correct place, you know? And as someone who grew up in a home with a nurse, and the medical field has always been heavily pushed on me, I knew I wasn't going to be nobody's person in the medical scene, whether a doctor, a dentist, OBGYN, whatever it wasn't going to happen for me. But what I do know is that I constantly make sure I go get my pap smear. I'm going to the dentist to get my teeth checked. I'm going to my primary care doctor. If I need to have surgery, I'm going to a surgeon. You know, if you got to check on your feet, you're going to go to your podiatrist. If you are having a child, you know, you're going to be going to a pediatrician. There's a doctor for every component, and we make sure that we keep our bodies intact. But why do we as a people, speaking to my melanated brothers and sisters, fail to realize we need to make sure we're checking in with our mental too? So I'm a huge advocate for always making sure you are getting the mental health assistance that you need. I'm a bi-weekly tap in with my counselor therapist, and I promise you, I'm not missing no days with that, right? Just because we all battle with something, some way, some shape or form. And I just want to encourage you, it is absolutely okay for you to go ahead and go to therapy. I do it and you should do it too, because we all are working our way through a thing. Okay. Now, speaking of working our way through a thing, we're about to dive into this interview with my girl, Miss Kiana Ledé. And when I say she absolutely dives into some good G codes and talk to you about the mental health. So get ready for that, because I need you to understand this as always, baby. There is no need for the cheat code when you got the G code. So get ready for it. Let's get right into it. Welcome to the G code.
Hi, it's Kiana.
Hey, how are you, Kiana?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you so much for tapping in so we can check in on you. How things going for you?
I'm prepping a lot for the album release, playing way too many video games, and about to go venture out to the grocery store before everybody gets off of work.
Listen, going to the grocery store is like going into the wild right now.
I know. It's like it has a whole nother meaning. I thought it was bad before, but this is just a whole nother level.
It's next level, and it's like finding tissue and paper towels is like paper gold at this point, okay?
Yep, exactly.
So as you're preparing for your album, listen, your Mad at Me track is everything.
Thank you.
So where did this come from? Okay, Mad at Me. I feel like so many of us can resonate with this particular song.
Oh, hey, yeah, I feel like it was just a lot of honestly pent up anger and resentment towards all the opinions in my personal and professional life, and yeah, I was just tired of it, so I wrote a song about it.
I love it. Listen, I feel like when things piss you off, that's when like the greatest freaking creations come about. Do you feel the same?
Yep, agreed.
And so for those who may not know who Kiana is, give them a quick glance into your world.
Give them a quick glance into my world. My world is my man just said blood and fire. I mean, my world right now is very, very different than the world I'm used to. The world I'm used to is a lot of traveling, a lot of talking to people, making great music, trapping myself in a house to make music, and because I want to, not because I have to,
Mm-hmm.
Now my world is a lot of meetings and phone calls and Zoom video chats and Instagram Lives, which is actually really great because I'm getting used to being on my phone a little bit more and promoting myself. I'm not very good at that usually.
Well, I think you're doing a great job. One, because I think your imaging and the pictures and the things that you're posting is really captivating. And, as I look and scroll through, of course, you have this tour that's coming. Will we still be able to see this tour depending on what we got going on in this world today?
The Kiki tour will be postponed. It's not going to cancel. We're just going to push it back a little bit so that we can make sure that people are still in a healthy environment and a safe environment when they're coming to watch the shows.
So when it comes to Kiki, is Kiki a nickname for Kiana?
Yeah, so the reason I called my debut album Kiki is because I felt like I've always been myself, but I wasn't being 100%. With my last two EPs, I feel like my first EP, I was me for sure, but I only had so many songs to show who I was, and I was very depressed at that time. And then Myself came out, and I, again, only had so many songs, like an abridged version of me. And I was really feeling myself, but I also took in a lot of opinions of a lot of other people. And then this time around, with my debut album, I have 17 songs to really tell people who I am, tell my full story, and let people really get to know me on a deeper level, and stop running away from all the things that make me me, so even if they are different. So that's why I call it Kiki.
I love it. So you getting this tattoo, I feel like it's kind of like a phoenix rising, right? When you come from a place that you may have not been comfortable with and you're recreating yourself. And I seen the tattoo you just got. Was that like a sign of liberation for you to be you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've always wanted to get a tattoo representing one of my projects, and I feel like this is being a somewhat self-titled album and it being what I feel is the most truest form of me, perfect for a tattoo.
And so, like, with this being an album, like you said, that's given the truest form of you, and it's self-titled, you know, you've mentioned something that I think so many people deal with, but yet so many people are not really to face when it comes to depression and feeling particular different about yourself. Like, will we be able to get your journey and your walk through becoming you again in this album?
I think with this project, I'm more touching on the stories that made me who I am and the things that I deal with on a daily basis. And just even when I'm talking about like the truest form of me, even my writing style, like my flow is completely different. My writing style is just, this project is the best writing I've ever done as a singer-songwriter, as an artist, as a poet. And my melodies, I feel like people are really going to get to know me. I wrote all the songs minus 3 songs with the same guy, and the way that we represent each other in the songs is just, we had a flow like no other. So that's why I feel like it's the most me.
So when it comes to making your music, do you feel that having someone that you can really vibe with, like great chemistry and great energy, is important when you're building?
Yeah, for sure. I was talking to someone about this the other day. I feel like typically songwriting, when the artist is bouncing back and forth between different sessions and different writers, it's like speed dating. Like, you have to get to know these writers, the writers have to get to know you. I feel like I work best when I know the people that I'm working with on a very personal level, on a deep level, and they know what's happening in my personal life. That way I don't have to keep telling the story 100 times to keep explaining it. And they know who I am and how I would deal with certain situations or how I'm feeling. Music is really like therapy, and I write the best music when it is. So to have one constant person in the room where I didn't have to keep telling him the stories, once he met me, it was like he already knew me, and we just kept going from there.
I love it. And so, you know, with you being a singer, this songwriter, a creative in its essence, you know, at what age did you know this is what you wanted to explore?
I never really, there wasn't like a moment. I've just always known. I've always loved performing. I've always loved singing since I was a toddler. Like, I really don't even remember the very first time I did it. My mom says I learned the ABCs when I was like 16 months old, and I belted them and did runs, and I never stopped singing ever since then. So I just always known. There was never like a plan B. The plan Bs that I used to give when I was a kid, you know, when they ask you like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Mm-hmm. It would change like every week, because I didn't really care about that answer, because I knew I was going to be a singer. So yeah, there wasn't really like one moment. I just always knew that I was destined to do it.
I hate that question. I think that's the dumbest question when we're young. And it's just like, how can you ask me such a loaded damn question and I'm a kid? Like, yeah, I hated it. And
exactly.
We will say the clichéest things, right? Being a teacher, I used to say I wanted to be a pediatrician because it sounded good. And I remember seeing, it sound good. They make money, you know, they like kids. Mm-hmm. And I remember reading it in one of my books and then reading it in like this, I was a debutante. And I was just like, what the freak was I thinking when I knew all the time I just wanted to get paid to talk, because this is what I love to do. So, you know, I get it.
I love that.
Yes. And so, you know, who inspires Kiki? You know, when I look back and I think about, you know, being a radio personality and growing up, you know, I love the Kathy Hughes of the world, the Angie Martinez, the Wendy Williams, when she was on radio. And these are women that, you know, I looked up to when it comes to me wanting to reach the highest of heights in media. So who does Kiki look up to, and who has been like your musical inspiration?
I mean, I think now my answer is a little different than when I was younger. Now it's very much my peers. Like, I look up to the women who fight every day to keep doing what they love, like Kehlani and Ari and Janae and Ella and all these amazing women that I have in my life. But I think when I was a kid, it was a lot of, I mean, similar but just different era, right? So like when I was a kid, and I wasn't as close to them. When I was a kid, it was like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Christina Aguilera, who else? My mom listened to like a lot of TLC, SWV. I love the Spice Girls. I loved Fergie and Black Eyed Peas. Like, I loved all these really strong female voices.
I love it. And those are voices that are definitely iconic. TLC, and like you said, building from your peers, because sometimes we're like the only ones we got sometimes when we're in the trenches. And what I love most, you said you and your peers locked yourself up in a space in Malibu and focused in on your album. Why do you think doing such a thing is important to really be around good energy and to allow yourself to focus in and not have distractions from your regular everyday environment?
I think in LA it's really easy to get distracted. So going to Malibu, even though it's not that far from where I live, it feels far enough because Malibu, you can't go anywhere in Malibu. Like, it's the beach or it's the house.
Right.
And we were really, we felt stuck in such a good way. I mean, it's stuck in the most beautiful way because we were in a fucking mansion looking at the beach. But you have this, like, amazing feeling of being stuck where you have no other agenda. There's no clubs you want to go to. There's no gym. There's no nothing. It's just you in this house. And what else are you going to do besides talk to your friends, eat good food, and make music?
I love it. That's a good comment. That's a good recipe. Eat good food, talk to your friends, make good music.
Yep.
I think you could put that on a shirt, put that on a t-shirt or something. And so, when it comes to, being around those kind of people, what are you doing to keep yourself in a good headspace and, allowing yourself to stay focused?
I think one of the things that keeps me positive is writing poetry, relearning my instruments, doing yoga, meditating. I'm finding all these hobbies that I wouldn't necessarily do because of my really busy schedule. Because I have nothing else to do but like sit at home, I'm finding I have all this time to like find the love again for all these things that I've loved my whole life that I don't really have time to do on a daily basis. So that's been really good. I've been trying to teach myself new skills. I've been also trying to get creative with the different things that I could do with other R&B female artists. Not only, in tandem with the album coming out, but also just in general. Like, because I know that all of us R&B girls really love to support each other. We're here for each other, and it's nice when it's on the phone, but also doing something in real life would be amazing. So I'm trying to brainstorm for that too. Just looking towards, things that are going to happen in real life in the future when we're able to go outside again.
Yep, as we live in this digital world before we step into our real world again. I like that. You're prepping, you're brainstorming and collaborating. And that's what I look forward to seeing. You're a gifted artist in so many ways. And like I said, your song, we're playing it in my mix. And what I love most is that you're stepping into this authentic place for yourself. So as you're doing this journey, everybody is on this journey with you that supports you and love you. So words of encouragement that I like to call my G codes. What would be Kiki's 3 G codes to success that you have been able to learn and understand as you've been maneuvering in this industry? 1, as a woman, and then 2, as a creative who's learning to really make sure you are showing your truest self.
That's a good question. So 3 things, right? Okay, I would say 1 is trust your gut and listen to yourself. Listen to your own opinions, listen to your own beliefs, listen to when you're questioning things, because at least for me, it's really easy for me to just be like, nah, you're just crazy. Nah, calm down. Nah, you don't need to talk about that. It's really easy for me to do that. So to be able to allow those thoughts and opinions and questions to come up and actively think about them and trusting them is 1. So trust your gut. 2, don't be afraid to take up space. So when those questions arise in your head and those opinions and those thoughts, don't be afraid to share them. Because I know, for instance, again, me, if I have a thought, I might just think about it and then be like, okay, well, I'll get to it later, because I don't want to take space. I don't want to, have other people question my thoughts after I've already questioned them. So be able to voice them, be able to voice your opinions, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your questions. And the last thing I would say is execution. And this is for people in general, but especially women. executing something. A thought is just a thought until it's executed. So being able to put something to action in real time is what's going to make it a real thing. And knowing that you are capable of doing that, of putting action towards something, one small thing can turn into something really, really big. And just not being afraid to execute it, because if you believe in it, other people will too.
There we go. Come on, execution is rewarded, in the words of our girl E.T., the hip hop preacher. Kiki, Kiana, Kiki. Do people say that song a lot to you? Was it that particular song?
Kiki, yes. Do you love me? Yeah.
You get that? It's like, okay, it's played out now. I'm over it.
No, I love it. Who doesn't love Drake?
Yes, right. I love it. So, one, thank you so much for chatting it up and sharing your G codes, and I'm really excited for you. Look forward to seeing this tour, whether it's virtual and or in person, and the release of the album. Look forward to playing Mad at Me some more, and the rest of your joints. What could be the next single?
What is going to be the next single? I'm not telling you.
Okay, all right. I'll take that.
Let's let the people decide. Okay. Let's see what streams the most.
I like that.
Let's see what people ask for on the radio station, and then, we'll know.
Okay, and then once we find out the next single, we could come back and I'm going to ask the question again. You can be like, oh, sis, listen, it's this. She said, yeah, no, I'm not telling you. Okay, I'll take that. We need a little privacy sometimes. I'll give you that. Okay, so for the people to be able to lock in, where you at, follow you on social, your website, any merchandise, like drop that info for us.
Everything is at Kiana Ledé. That's KIANALETE.
Very simple. I'm so happy. Well, thank you, beautiful. Have fun shopping, going out into the wild. Stay safe. And thank you so much for getting in this with me.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye. Listen, I told you it was going to be a good one. That right there was, of course, my interview, my lost tapes with Miss Kiana Ledé. And just to run back them G codes, you need to listen to them again. She said, okay, 1, first, trust your gut, listen to yourself. 2, don't be afraid to take up space. I think we all at some point, struggle with that just a little bit, like imposter syndrome. And then 3, execute. Listen, you are not alone. Execution is rewarded, as always. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed what you listened to, and you can run it back and make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend exactly where you hang out at when it comes to this podcasting. And that's right here with the G Code Podcast with me, ADRI.V. I love you so much for listening. Make sure you always tap in right here with the G Code. Be sure to subscribe to the G Code Podcast. Find it on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and all places a podcast lives. Want to catch up on the G Code Podcast? Well, go to www.ADRI.VTheGoGetter.com and also subscribe on SoundCloud and YouTube. The G Code.
I was born in the G Code, embedded in my blood. Matter of fact, you just triggered a level orange G Code security threat.
And that's the G Code, the G Code, the G Code.